Hello YouTube, I am back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how I did this little look. I did this one time before on my Instagram, but I really didn't like how that video came out, so I was like, perfect excuse to wear this look again and slay all day. But most importantly, what we're going to talk about today is depression and anxiety. This is something that we all struggle with. I don't know not one person nowadays that can honestly say like I'm not depressed every now and then, or I don't have anxiety. So with that being said, we're gonna jump right into this. I love you guys, and I'm gonna be praying for you guys as you watch this video, so that anything that you need to hear, hopefully I said it, and if I skipped over anything, do let me know. I would love to do a part 2. I would love to do a part 2 maybe with some of you guys in this, so we can have a real chit chat. And God bless. Enjoy this eyeshadow look, even though it's just like a little extra, but you know, enjoy the video. I love you guys, and let's get to it. I did this look on my Insta. It was inspired by Miss, I believe her name is Yami Angelina. Should be. Anyways, I'm pretty sure I used the Jaclyn Hill palette like always. Probably the only damn thing she did right in her life. I'm just kidding. No shade. The Daisy Marquez palette. We're gonna use both of these for this look, and of course we're gonna use gold glitter. So we're gonna start by how and why you tend to fall into depression and anxiety, and then we are going to continue on to signs that you can pick up on how to tell whether you are falling into being depressed or anxious. And then we're gonna move forward to what can you do, what the fuck, you know. Then we are going to close that shit up. Why do you see so many people nowadays being so freaking depressed? Like, what's going on? Okay, so I'm gonna take the matte shade with the clean brush, and I'm just gonna set my brow bone so that no colors transfer too far over as we blend. Okay, so like I was saying, why are there so many people that are falling into depression, so much anxiety, so many suicides? Because that's a sad reality that we have to face. Our people are killing themselves, and you may ask yourself why, or you may already know why, which is honestly a very like duh type of answer. And I don't mean to simplify anybody's experiences or anybody's issues or whatever, but we all bleed the same, to make it really clear or whatever. So I've come to a conclusion that the reason why there's so much of this going on is because, one, the world can be a very, very cruel, cold place. It can be, and that's the reality. Another one, people can be cruel and very cold. That's another reality. These things are things that we can't control, and therefore it's very easy for us to become depressed, because you come to think like, well, what am I gonna do about this? There's nothing you can do. So basic explanation, I know maybe you've been through really, really horrible things, and that's why you're depressed, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But I feel like to a certain extent you've all been through like really horrible shit. All right, so the first shade that I'm going to be taking is going to be this brown shade right here, the second one up. Pop that really deep into the crease. Because we can't control these things, it's very easy for us to, like, you know, kind of like lose hope a little bit and just think like this world is a horrible place, which you're right, it is a horrible place. Humanity, us as a whole, we're the ones who make it like that. Like, you have to realize that it's us that's making this place a horrible place, which then in return it makes you even more depressed. And I know you're like, Valeria, you're not making things any better, like, you know, but bear with me. You know, everybody has their own personal issues, but okay, you know why you feel this way. But the reason why most people are depressed is because we have lost our connection with God. Very, very few people have an idea of who and what God is. And for those of you that don't, how can you have a connection with something that you don't know. And these are just like very general reasons. Like I said, everybody goes through different shit, and I'm sorry that the world is such a shitty place and that you have to live through that. But again, these are things that we can't control. What are the signs that you have depression or anxiety, or what are signs that you can look for in your loved ones to know like what the fuck is going on? Okay, so next I'm gonna grab this shade right here. It's still a matte brown shade, a little bit lighter, just a tint lighter. What can you look for to have this, or if somebody that you love or know has this? Okay, so these are very basic signs that I could see in myself, family members, friends. So this is based off of my experiences and my perspective of life. So loss and interest. So I know that when you're a kid, you know, for example, when somebody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up, or like stuff like that, and a kid will usually tell you, well, shit, I'm trying to be the president. That they have big high hopes and dreams for the world, which is amazing. This is a reason why I also believe that you have to remain a kid at heart if you don't want to get lost in this sick. For example, for me, for many years, I lost interest in like makeup. I lost interest in going out and like buying the most like fashionable clothes. Like I was losing interest in the things that made me excited or that I genuinely enjoy to do, or you know, take interest in. Okay, also another thing that you can look for is changes in diet. So maybe you used to eat a good 2 to 3 meals a day, versus now you might be able to skip a few meals and it's like nothing to you. The reason why your body like doesn't care anymore is because it's like shutting off. You have to understand how the mind and the body works. Like your brain leads and your body follows. So if you're feeling shitty, if you're feeling like you don't deserve to be alive, your body will follow. So you will see a loss of maybe an appetite, or on the other hand, you might be trying to fill a void by overeating too much, or like that's the only thing that you can look forward to, which is sad, but it happens. And again, it's a reality. And if you ever notice somebody, or you yourself, you notice that you're not eating the same, or you're doing it too much, or you're overeating, then that's a big red flag. What I tell you, Bubby, you just love to be in the spotlight, don't you? I'm gonna use this brown, like mustardy brown shade, and I'm gonna just tap it to both of these, the yellow one and this one, to give me a really yellowish brown. The other one is a big one, and that people don't really talk about because it's like so embarrassing, but it's like a big one. Like this, if anything, is one of the biggest ones. So hear me out. Having a messy room, or having a messy house and being used to it. So, you know, growing up, your parents, hopefully, they would tell you, clean up your room, da da da, you know, and you might think like, oh, my mom or my dad, they just like to have a clean house, which is true. Who doesn't like to have a clean house? But your room, especially your room where you sleep in, is a representation of your mind and your heart and your soul. It represents how you are deep down inside. When you have cluttered feelings, cluttered thoughts, cluttered emotions that you cannot let go of, you will not let go of, your room follows. When you are cluttered inside, it will show on the outside, period. Like your room will be messy. You might walk into your room and you might not see a problem with being able to step over your pile of clothes that you haven't picked up in 3 weeks, because you've been stepping over your feelings that you've been ignoring for the past 3 years. Your environment and how you choose to keep your environment is a reflection, is a exact fucking reflection of how you are feeling on the inside. Now, another thing that my mom let me in on is that bad energies, and I hate using that word energies because I feel like energies on and off are like spirits, either from the past, from the present, or should be even the future. I don't fucking know. I don't know too much. Don't ask too much. But these energies, or these negative low vibrations, or whatever the fuck you know them as, I truly believe that they're spirits, like actual spirits that were once alive or that are in another realm. Things like messy places. They like to nest themselves where there's a lot of mess, where there's a lot of chaos. So if you find that you're extremely depressed, extremely anxious, that you can't be happy to save your life, that you can't have any type of peace, look around your room and ask yourself, well, shit. Just check yourself when it comes to that. I don't know what the fuck your house looks like or what your room looks like, but 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, it is a reflection of how you're feeling on the inside and what is in your mind. So if your room is cluttered, your mind is cluttered, you can't move, you can't do shit, you literally can't even see the floor. Like, how do you expect to get to the ground of things? But bitch, you can't even see your own ground. I'm gonna pick up this darker brown right here. It's a tiny bit. This is not gonna really show too much. It's just to add depth, where if it's not there, it's, girl, it's gonna look a little patchy, and you don't, girl, we don't do patchy. So little movements, say like you're always like shaking your leg, you're always tapping your nails, you're always biting your hands, even like biting like the inside of your lips. I do that a lot, so that's how I know that I'm starting to get nervous and I need to breathe. Chill the fuck out. Little things, self-explanatory. If you do those things, then you need to check yourself. And of course, one that's very obvious, it kind of leads into that, is where you worry too much, aka when you have little faith. So, and I know this is very general, I don't want to be like, oh, don't worry, because you know there's always situations in life where you do have to worry, and that's a normal feeling. But I'm talking about if you live in constant fear or in constant worry, where you literally can't process a thought, you can't do shit throughout your day without you being worried, that's a really big issue, because all in all that will end up affecting your physical, like your physical body, your mind. Like that shit will fuck you up. So if you're feeling like that, literally ask for help, because that's not normal, and at this point you can't help yourself. So I did an eye off camera just so we can save some time. I'm going to show you how I cut the crease, just because for this specific look it is type important. What can you do then? So yeah, you know, or you have an idea why you are depressed. Oh, my dumbass, I missed like a whole key to this. I personally have come up with this belief, but I truly believe that depression and anxiety is not an illness. It is not an actual like disorder. Technically it is a disorder, but I truly believe that depression and anxiety are actually symptoms. Depression and anxiety is a symptom, or are symptoms, of what we mentioned in the very first place, of the world, people, and things that we can control. These are symptoms of those things. So there's cause and there's an effect. The cause is, of course, the world, people, and things we can't control, and depression and anxiety is a symptom of that. I don't know how better way to explain it. So what can you do? Like, easier said than done, but I'm gonna tell you guys what I've done to overcome these bitch ass symptoms. To figure out how the mind and body works, okay, you have to at least be aware that this is how your body works, this is how it functions the best. Figure out how your body works, and the way that I see it, there are essentials that your body, like, you will be dead without this. Pretty much you will be long gone without this. Of course, food, sleep, exercise, sun, and water. All right, so like I mentioned before, your eating habits, you have to be in control of them. If not, they will control you, and they can lead to very scary illnesses and diseases. You guys know what those are. If you're not eating right, or if you're skipping meals, or if you're eating too late, this will fuck up your attitude, especially if you have kids and you need to be energized and in a good mood for them. If you skip out on your own meals, mom, if you skip out on your own meals, dad, you're gonna have a shitty attitude. You're gonna be mean to your kids. You're gonna have zero patience, and your kids are gonna hate you for that. I'm sorry I have to be so blunt. Sometimes I have to remind myself of this, but get up in the morning if you have to, a little bit earlier. Make yourself breakfast. Make them a breakfast so that when they wake up, that won't be an issue. The next comes water. if you don't drink a lot of water has a lot of oxygen in it. You're gonna get a lot of headaches. You might get a lot of migraines. Dehydration is probably like the worst thing that you can do to yourself. And this does not include sodas and juices and all of that, because that shit has like 50% water, 50% a bunch of other shit that is not meant for your body. So drink water. Thing is exercise. Now I know not everybody has time to exercise like a rigorous 3 to 4 times a week exercise. No, I'm gonna take in, I use the Naked Shade and the Daisy palette to go all over the lid. If you can't do a lot of exercise throughout the week, for example, when I was pregnant, well, I couldn't continue to do like my heavy lifting workouts. My exercise when I was pregnant was doing house chores like it was nobody else's business. Like literally whenever I would be mopping or whenever I'd be like picking up stuff, like I would make sure that I was in touch with like my muscles to really get in there to knock out like 2 birds in 1 stone type of situation. Yeah, exercise, exercise, exercise. If you have kids and you really don't have time, literally find any excuse to get moving. Even if it's, girl, take your ass down to your mailbox, do a little lap or 2. Bitch, you better go walk your dog. A lot of you guys have freaking dogs. Go walk them, you know. Exercise is important because it, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong, but it stimulates dopamine, I think that's what it is, in your brain, like that shit that makes you happy, or like that shit that like other drugs have that make you happy. Well, exercise stimulates that naturally in your brain, so it will give you a dose of happiness, literally. And if you're not happy with your body, that's even a bigger reason for you to exercise, so then you get 2 in 1. Girl, you're gonna be happy because that stimulates that chemical in your brain that it literally makes you happy, and then 2, you will see a change in your body. You're gonna be, you know, looking better, a little more snatched. In the end, it's gonna make you feel better and look better, so duh. Okay, so I'm just taking in from the same palette the shade Cocoa, and I'm just gonna go over that brown that we had, and we're just gonna blend it in ever so lightly. Whew. Okay, so when it comes to the sun, the more sun you get, the more melanin you produce. But what other people don't know, or what most people don't know, is that the sun provides a lot of nutrients and vitamins to your cells, which in return provide it for you. And in general, like, you just receive a lot of nutrients and you receive a lot of vitamins from the sun. When you're not receiving a lot of sun, I, for example, get a lot of headaches. I get so many headaches. So for me, yes, I pop like maybe like 1 or 2 Advils or whatever, but I drink a tall or 2 tall ass glasses of water, and then I take my ass outside to soak in some sun, and I shit you not, my headaches go away. So besides that, like being inside too much, say you play too many video games, say you're always on your phone, say you're lazy, like a lot of us, you don't want to be out in the sun, you don't want to be sweating and stuff. So like that's very self-explanatory, but at the same time there's consequences to you not going outdoors. And being depressed is one of them, because you have to understand that it's like a ripple effect. Like you don't just go from point A to point Z. Like you don't go from being extremely happy to being extremely depressed. Like there's a process and there's a whole freaking spiral that takes place before you get there. So get your sun, drink your water, eat right, and then this leads me into the next one, which is sleep. When you don't get a lot of sleep, it's like recharging your body. You have to recharge your energy in order for you to be able to function right. I'm taking Vintage, and I'm just gonna warm up that bottom lash line. Like I'm smoking it out a little bit so that it's not so harsh. Yeah, get your sleep, because if you don't, if your phone's not charged, if you're not charged, it's like take it like that. If you don't charge your phone, bitch, what apps are you going to be able to use? None. So make sure that you get your sleep, have a bedtime. Literally, like, you don't necessarily have to have a bedtime, duh, but like say, okay, 12 a.m. is my limit. 1 a.m. is my limit. For me personally, my limit is like 11:30, latest 12. We're pushing it. In return, your body will start to kind of gear up and like slowly but surely fall into like a steady flow. So that's how you can help yourself. Because anyways, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I did my eye, the actual glitter, before we continue with the conversation, because I'm not gonna be able to talk through it. I need to explain to you exactly what I did. So first of all, the original look that Yami Angelina did not have a liner, but I feel like for my eyes and just for my taste for this look, I was totally inspired by her, but I am gonna add a black liner. So go ahead and do your liner according to your eye shape. My liner is on, and as you can see, it's very thin. Oh, that noise you hear? Hey, we have Rapunzel! We have Rapunzel in the building, you guys. We have a full celebrity in the building. Go like this. Show your hair, mommy. Woo! So we have a Rapunzel braid, and we have a Rapunzel dress. Say hi, Rapunzel. Say it's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. Okay, she's gonna go play with her horse and her frog, right? Good, good girl. What you're gonna need to create this winged glitter look, and this is pretty much for any technique. You can honestly create any shape you want with the glue. Come on, y'all, we did this in elementary with glue and glitter. You know what's going on, okay? So with this, I'm gonna create a line just above the liner that we just did, and make sure that you don't get too much, or really you're not supposed to get any at all on the black liner that you just did. Slowly but surely start gluing that glitter to the glue that you just applied. Finger and like pat it down so that it sticks, and then grab a random brush and literally brush off anything that's just not meant to be there. You can always place a little bit of powder down beforehand, but my face is my foundation and my concealer is already set, so it won't really stick too much to it. Again, with your finger, make sure that it's nice and gripped to the glue, and then with just any brush, you can even use a Q-tip, your finger, whatever, start removing some of that glitter. And that's that. Make sure that there's not a lot of glue on the little wand so that it can give you a nice thin line. Okay, and just pat that down. And the reason why I'm not too scared about this glitter getting everywhere, because it's only gonna stick to the glue part. So you can, this is kind of fun, you know, you can be a little careless about this. So again, pat it down gently. You don't want that glue under there to move too much, but then you can and thin it out a little bit so that it's not like crazy looking at the end or too chunky looking. And same thing, very gently pat it down. That's pretty much it for the glitter, you guys. I love this freaking look, and I'm actually glad that I didn't like the other video, because I've been wanting another excuse to wear this. So I'm gonna be late today. My husband's gonna come home like again. We're almost done. I finished the glitter, and I just went ahead and sharpened the bottom black liner a little more to stick it out a little farther than the glitter. And as you can see, it's popping, girl, period. And we left off with how to take care of your body. Now, how do you take care of your mind? Because we're made up of body, mind, and soul. Okay, those three things make us human and makes us the children of God. Okay, that's what makes us special. For the mind, you have to feed it the same way that you feed your body. So you have to be feeding your mind fruitful content. And think of it as a tree. If you're not feeding your mind anything that's fruitful, what do you expect to come from it? Like, what do you expect, honestly? Like, if you're constantly, you know, and let's use music as an example, because music is something that influences you a lot more than you think, or that you know, or maybe you do know it, but you're like, hey, I live this life, this is the music I listen to, I live it how I speak it. Sometimes rappers love to say that shit, and I mean, you might think you're real or whatever, but like at the end of the day, is that what's best for you? I don't think so. Quick, I'm gonna apply my Mexi lashes in the style 310, and these are like the most natural ones, and I would have done like a crazy lash, but I really want something that's going to showcase my eyeshadow more than anything. So this is just going to add a little bit of length towards the end since we're doing the wing, and a lot of fullness. So 310 from Mexi lashes. So you guys, if you do not know or do not remember, I'm gonna keep reminding you, they launch this Friday, July 12th. Set your timers. If you haven't collected your coins, ask your husband for some, you know, because they're not going to be that expensive, and I promise you, you won't regret this purchase. They're reusable, cruelty-free, 3D mink luxury lashes. So I'm gonna pop these on. Like, what books are you reading? What shows are you watching? What people are you listening to? Like, all of these things influence you whether you like it or not, period. So if you're constantly watching reality shows, if you're constantly scrolling down Instagram, if you're constantly listening to all sorts of music that is just very vague and very negative, that's what's going to sit in your mind, and that's what's going to come from your mind. Like, that's it. You're not going to go further than that. Like, period. You're not. It just adds to the clutter of your mind, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that can go back again to why you can't keep your house clean or your room clean to save your life. Like, you guys, we are multi-dimensional beings. Like, we have to watch every aspect of our life. Sorry, I'm trying to get this glue out. There we go. The people around you affect you quite a lot, so make sure that the people around you have their own goals, their own aspirations, and that they actually are looking for the best for themselves. Because if they don't love themselves, then what the fuck they gonna do for you? Nothing. I'm gonna say it. People that don't have the best interest in you are a waste of your time, a waste of space in your life, because they're not a waste of space in them. They got their own shit. To depart from them and let them go. Let them go. Especially if it's someone that you're in a relationship with, let that shit go. And if it's somebody that's like family, you're like, well, how can I let my family go? You can't let them go, but you can, you know, place a little distance between you two so that you can grow. Same way that some plants have to have a certain distance from each other so that they can each get enough light and enough water and stuff. It's very easy to not believe in God, because we live in such a place where everything's physical, everything has to be proven, everything is just like facts or not. Funny thing, who the fuck do you think created science to begin with? Who do you think created all of these physical things to begin with? Like, technically, and like speaking in simple terms, when it comes down to it, something out of this world, something that we can't understand, had to create us. If you're disconnected from God, if you're disconnected from your source, if you're not in touch with customer service every now and then, to be honest, all the time, if you're disconnected from him, like, don't expect to be fulfilled. Oh my goodness. Of course you're gonna feel like something's missing. You're gonna feel like nothing makes sense. You're gonna feel like there's a piece of you that's not there. You're gonna feel incomplete. Think about it. If he wanted us to have us in check, he would not have gave us free will. He would not have done all this and that for nothing. Like, he loves us enough to where he'll let us do whatever the fuck we want. But at the end of the day, making those right decisions, it's up to us to live. Now, like I said, you can't control what happens to you, but you can't control what you do about it. That being said, you can't blame God for things that happen to you, because again, people have free will, and most of us ain't shit on this planet. So you can't control what happens to you, but you can't control what you do about it. And the best way to go about it is to go straight to the source. But if you're disconnected from that source, it's so hard for you to get to the, you know, status that you need to be in, because there's no better way to get to the source. There's no better way to live. I promise you, one day I will share with you guys most of my experiences, and I say most because I feel like some shit I'm gonna take to the grave, because life is fucked up, you know. But one day I will share with you guys how I came to this conclusion that there's no better place than being with God. And that's that. Look at these lashes, y'all. 310. Oh, they still showcase the glitter and all that, but they're not so dramatic to where you can't totally see what's going on. So I love them. I live. All right, so now I'm just gonna take a little bit of Icy from the Daisy Marquez palette, and I'm gonna pop it right in the inner corner to go ahead and finish this eye look. And I'm just gonna line these ever so slightly, because I'm not sure exactly what I wore on my lips for the original picture, but I have a feeling it was just like this and some gloss. I'm gonna go with my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb and Fenty Glow. I think that's what this is called. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what I was using that day, because my lips look pretty basic, and this is like my basic lip look. And that's that for the lips. How can you feed your spirit? How can you heal your own spirit? Okay, and now this also has to do a lot with, excuse me, whew, this also has to do a lot with God himself. But your spirit is something that you can, quote unquote, manipulate, if you will. Like, you can work with it. When you want to heal or something like that, first of all, you have to accept what you've done wrong, or like how you have failed yourself. So only you know that. You have to go back down to memory lane, and you have to figure out what the fuck it is that you did, or what the hell it is that happened to you that has you so fucked up. Like, there's no better way to say it. Okay, I'm gonna smile, pop my highlight on. So you have to track back and realize, like, okay, what went wrong? What's the error? Or like what you're doing that's continuing your depression and your anxiety. Because believe it or not, half of the time, like I told you guys, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we handle it. And half of the time we don't handle shit right, so that makes matters even worse. So go back, backtrack, figure out what went wrong. But like this, if you've tried everything, if you feel like you've tried absolutely every trick in the book to try to heal from yourself, and this includes medicating with drugs, marijuana, whatever it is, if you've tried to medicate and that's not your answer, if you've tried to go to a therapist and that's not your answer, if you've tried to just talk to people and that's not your answer, then it's because you haven't tried to reach customer service. Like I told you. The setup is a little different, because in the last video, the last two clips, I realized that my eyelash was falling off. But anyways, it was just like the very last few minutes of the video. I glued it back on, everything's good, that was my fault. Anyways, so I'm like, hey, why was I born? Like, what is the original plan that you had in mind for me? Ask him for the answers and he will give it to you. It's as simple as that. And I know you're gonna be like, well, Vale, how can you be so sure? Well, you're never gonna know until you try. So give it a try, pray, ask for him, and you shall receive. Now, I do want to apologize in advance if I touch anybody or trigger anybody, because we've all had somebody who has taken their life, but we all know deep down that, or at least you wish that they fought harder. And that's a very selfish thing to say, but you have to think about it in terms of like yourself, because we all bleed the same, we are all one in the same. So suicide will only make matters worse, because like I said, we're not just physical beings, we are multi-dimensional beings. So you might take the pain away from your physical body, but your spirit will only be in a worse state afterwards, because only God knows exactly what we go through to get to him, or like where the hell we go after death, which we all have an idea, but truly we won't find out until we get there. So don't risk it. If you really feel like there's no other answer but to take your life, I promise you, I beg you, it is not. You will only make matters worse. I apologize if I triggered anybody by even mentioning this, but if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to dish it out with me, private message me and we will freaking hash this shit out. We will we will try to answer as many questions as we can together. All in all, believing in God and trying to be with him and, you know, trying to follow his path is not gonna avoid things from happening to you. I mean, yeah, maybe he will, you know, move you out of the way for a few things, because I also do believe that he can protect you in that way. But certain things we cannot control. But at the very least, what God will give you and what he leaves you with is giving you strength and knowledge to be able to withstand. You will be able to withstand and grow from these experiences. And when you grow from these experiences that you survived, you will be able to help others. So this is why having God in your life is so crucial, because he's the one that gives you the power and the energy to move forward, to keep going. So never ever stop and think that this is it. Whatever is going on in your life at the moment is temporary. Don't stay there. Keep going. Ask him to help you, but you have to help him with everything that we've mentioned before. When it comes to your body, to your mind, and to your soul, you have to help him physically so that he can heal you and help you become the person that you're meant to become, and so that he can help you reach your purpose and everything that you have to do in life. Look, every single one of us has a purpose, and if you're not busy, if you're not constantly trying to find the next move that God has for you, you're wasting time. And I'm sorry to say it, but when you waste time, you're gonna get depressed. You're gonna get depressed because you're not doing shit about it. So give yourself a fair shot. Learn your body, learn your mind, so that you're able to help yourself in the best way that you know how. But most importantly, reconnect with your source, reconnect with God. If you don't know how, check your history books, check any and every religion. You can even ask atheist people and like atheist scientists, was Jesus a real person? Was he actually here? Like, are there actual recordings of his existence, of his death and resurrection? Like, was this an actual thing? And everybody, including atheist people, will tell you that Jesus was in fact a real person who lived and walked just as we walk today. You truly believe that he's the way he could, because think about it, he sent his only son to live like us in human form so that we can know how. And I will leave you with that seed. Do what you will with that seed. It's up to you whether you will water it or not, or you will let it die. It's totally up to you, baby. That's why we have free will. But you definitely have the power in you to do it. You definitely, most definitely can get the strength to move forward and be the person that God intended all of us to be. And like I said, life might still be shitty as fuck, because it only gets shittier as it goes. But you will at least have the strength, the knowledge, and the power and the knowledge to share to others, to show others like, hey, yes, we live in a shitty ass world, but you can withstand it, and this is how. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. Share the hell out of this video if you feel like it might help somebody, and if it helps you, definitely don't keep it to yourself. Share it. I love you, because we are all brothers and sisters in spirit. I love you so much. Like, you have no idea. Like, this is the reason why I'm even sharing my experiences and my thoughts with you, because I want you guys to live better and do better, because we're all brothers and sisters, okay? So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. If you have any certain topics you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Drop your suggestions down below. Private message me if you want to talk about it. You know, I'm always here for you. I love you guys. Until next time, bye bye.